All right, bitches, we're back.
Yeah. What up, freak bitches?
All right, so episode 3 was the thing we watched now of the Santa Clarita Diet.
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Clarita Diet set sail for Netflix. Yeah, we're back.
All right, so episode 3, where did we start off, Lee?
The quest for more food continues.
We need food.
She needs to eat live things.
So-
we gotta pick someone. There's a beefy pedophile and other cop neighbor that we were like, where's other cop neighbor? We talked to other cop neighbor
he's
now.
a very sensitive man.
It's
he
funny.
gardens and loves herbs and cooking and whatnot.
And you were like, she should just kill him. Well, why was that? Because of his like lame attitude, or just like,
Yes. So like I just mumbled like, she should just kill him, and then
Kill
4
that
seconds
motherfucker.
later, she's like,
what if
I killed him?
Yes, yes.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm like a damn psychic.
Oh, but why did you want to kill him? I think it was for different reasons than she did.
Yeah, same reason. I was
You
just
were just
hungry.
like, that guy sucks. I was like, I'm just hungry.
No, like, this episode, probably the strongest of the 3
It's
so
getting
far.
better, which is good. We're
Yeah,
happy.
had a more consistent joke to hit ratio.
Yep.
I died in the car a bit when he's like, oh, Jack in the Box, that'd be so good if
Yeah.
we were eating.
If we were eating, yeah, because she's like, oh, like, come on. Yeah.
No, it's good. So she finally ate. They tried to get a pedophile, not pedophile, well, I guess a pedophile we would technically correct.
Statutory
A statutory rapist
not
/
a-
drug dealer to children.
Yeah.
But she took a phone call and he bonded with him. Realized he wasn't really that bad of a guy.
Yeah, so
So he didn't go. He'll probably make some cameo appearances as his drug dealer in the future.
I was gonna say, so he even says he had really good weed, and I'm like, okay, so
I
he's gonna
picture
be
the
a
weed coming
character
back.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I
it'd be
didn't
like,
dislike that guy.
Yeah, well, they were setting up the Dexter kill room. They lured
Yeah.
him there, and blah blah blah, with all the stuff you just said and all that stuff. But that was the guy. So, like, we visited with the kids. They're still ditching school and bonding and talking about how life is crazy.
Yeah, she has not gone to
And,
school since this incident happened, it seems.
which is awesome.
And presumably it's only been 2 days, assuming it's gone,
Right.
as everything we've seen has been a day. I don't think there's any days we've missed.
No, and she says, like, I haven't eaten in 2 days. And
Yeah.
that's when she would have killed. She hasn't eaten since Nathan Fillion, so whatever. Yeah. But they introduced this drug dealer character in this, like, funny way with all this stuff.
Yep.
I loved, and I think I laughed out loud when she's like, and he took my quesadilla. or something
Yeah.
like that. 'Cause
He
I picture
broke up with me, didn't even get out of the car, and he took my quesadilla.
Because I picture him being like, listen, babe, grabbing the bag and being like, it's not going to work out between us. Just leaving.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait a minute, my food's in there too. And then, like, I don't want a fucking taquito. And just eating it and the whole thing. Like, there's, as you were saying, just like a general.
Maybe he didn't know
better
you were
joke
16. What did he think you were doing between 8 and
Yeah.
3:30 when he picked you up at the school?
Where you at the high school? No, that stuff was actually awesome because like you're bonding with this drug dealer guy and like because you're like along for Timothy Olyphant's ride and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like I love how whenever he then goes to because when they were talking, it kind of made sense to me, but then. In the same way that it kind of made sense to Timothy Olyphant, and then whenever he talks to literally anyone else, or when people talk about him, they're like, "What? No, that's not a valid excuse."
Yeah.
And he just goes, and I went along for that ride too. Where I was like, "Oh, I guess that doesn't make sense."
Well, I
guess you
think
should've-
everything
probably
is
should've killed
easier
him.
if you're not in front of somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, like, tell him he's a bitch. Well, you can't just call someone a
No,
bitch to their
it's
face. Well,
fucking- Yeah. No, but I like how it wasn't just like he was the worst person ever, but it turns out he's not the worst person ever. It was like he's the worst person ever, but you got to know him too much, and life's complicated, so this and that. And from his perspective, he was like, well, she said she was 21, but then logistically speaking, how could you not know that she's not still in high, right? So like that's pretty great.
I think there are 21-year-old teachers.
Yeah.
She could have been a teacher.
Right.
She's not, obviously. She's an idiot.
But he was obviously choosing, if he does think that he had no idea, he was sort of choosing to have no idea in a way, right?
Well, I think
So
he
it's
was
kinda like,
riding the line of like, okay, if I get pulled over, I'm going to say no, officer. I didn't know how fast I was going.
Right.
I chose not to look at the speedometer.
I just won't pay that way. They'll be flawless, whatever.
I can pass your lie detector because I didn't know.
Exactamundo.
But then maybe something happened definitively where he's like, oh, she's clearly 16. 16, Jesus God.
16 and 21 are farther
Such a difference.
They're farther apart than the 5 years you might suspect. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
you're not even a fully developed human at 16.
No. You think you are though. That's why you're dangerous. Neighbor
Yeah.
cop is still very suspicious. The other guy.
He's such a fucking dick. And in the weirdest way where I'm like, this would be unacceptable.
Yes, but that's a weird thing in life too, where it's like, well, I can't just be like, I mean, you can, and you would tell other people, well, just fucking close the window and be like, no, bitch, what the fuck? But like awkward social situations develop where you end up having to answer.
And I
like,
do love so much how, like, when you see things in TV, like you watch The Office or something, and you're like, no one like this can ever exist,
Right.
like the Dwights and the Michael Scotts of the world. But then you meet somebody, and you're like, oh my God, you are like a character of someone that shouldn't exist. Someone just this week said to someone I work with, who they're competing for the same position, it said, I will outsmart you and I will outwork you. May the best man win. And I'm like, what the fuck?
You're like,
who says
people
that?
won't say that. And if you told someone about that, they'd be like, you sweetened that, or
Well,
made
like,
it work.
were they joking? Was it said like with like a smile? It's like they're dead serious. They have to die.
Were they deadpanning a joke, you think? They
No.
selling a joke?
The best part is the one person really wants it clearly. The other person doesn't want it at all. But I was like, well, you have to fucking get it now.
He's throwing
Beat
down
that motherfucker.
They threw down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that person said that to a person who doesn't even want that job.
Yes.
And it's just like I guess I'm good, and they kind of want me or whatever.
But
that's
I'm like,
horrible.
now that any like, and if you like, that's the same thing of like telling me, don't walk on the grass. I will fuck your grass up.
Oh.
So like, this person didn't even say it to me, and I'm like, I will do everything in my power to make sure you get this job.
I slash his tires. What?
I love shit like that. And this guy, because he's a cop, though, it's harder to give him that pushback that I would much want to do.
Yeah, no, they're in a weird situation because
Well, they're murderers, zombies, and he's a cop, so it's like the trifecta of fucked.
Well, and a lot of this is this cool, and this is part of what this show is about, right? Is they are the goofy suburban whatevers,
Yeah.
and they're in the midst of all this stuff, you know. Like, we're gonna have family dinner and stuff like that. Like, they're trying to do all these things, and I don't know. It's good times. So she eats a random douche that Timothy Olyphant rear ends on the road.
Yeah, they're on their way to find this Italian pedophile that they were tipped off by the police officer who lives on the other side of them, and which I also think is funny because like just think about for like that 1 second rationally. You're asking very specifically for a bad person in the area, and then like the next day they would go missing.
I know.
He's a cop, you fucking idiots.
He's a cop, you idiot.
But good thing is they didn't find that guy because they accidentally rear-ended somebody else when looking at fast food. And that guy was a huge dick, and because she was so hungry, she went off and bit his throat, and he died.
She just jumped on him and gave him a piggyback gnawing, like, horrible.
Does it strike you as humorous, though, that that's her, like, because it seemed like that's how she was going to kill the other guy, too, was
Yes.
just bite their neck.
I know.
Like, stab him, shoot him, choke him.
Kill him in, well...
some way that blood doesn't pour out everywhere and on
it's-
you.
And it seems like here, like, the idea is to kill them, but, like, immediately be eating them or something like
Yeah,
that. Where I'm
yes.
like, wow, okay. But then she's fine to just eat, like, severed things later, so it can't be that. She doesn't need the blood. The neck's where all the blood is. It's a highway of, it's like a... It's
Well, it's
like,
also where the insta-death is.
it's the freeway.
It's hard to
yes.
bite someone's heart with
Right,
how
exactly.
human mouths work.
I would think. So we don't know really if she has any powers or if she's any like.
I would
jacked
assume
up
her
or
only
whatever.
power is that she can't die.
Is whatever.
Or it would be very difficult to render her dead.
Because I would have said like the go-to move you would think would be to break the neck.
Yeah, but
And
if she's
then
not
you can
a
eat the neck
strong
if you want.
person,
Right.
like it's not necessarily. I do think it only takes
doesn't
like
have
10
zombie
pounds
strength.
of pressure to snap a person's neck.
Uh.
But it's the angle at which you have to do that. She's shorter than most people because what is she like 5 something?
Yeah. And she doesn't seem to have like weird zombie strength or something.
I don't believe so. I think she's strictly a human.
Yeah. Maybe get a little like thing you can put up to the back of someone's neck and just go and
like a cattle punch.
Yeah, like a X-Files alien bounty hunter.
Oh sure, they.
Ice picking.
I bet
thing.
they have 4 or 5 options at the local Walgreens, and they could just be like, "Oh, I noticed you've been looking at this for a long time."
My manager sees you're looking at the back
Alien neck breakers.
back of head punch tool things.
It's you.
Other thing is tear gas at the drug dealer's house.
Yeah, so this I like.
Kids
as
get their
most things do
revenge
is
on their own,
that
too.
same drug dealer is wrapped into both storylines, obviously, and
Yeah.
the callback after the taco thing is like, my blue sweater, the blue sweater I got you, I love that one, I love it too, and we should get revenge on him. oh, yeah, get revenge on the drug dealer. That sounds great. We should lean into that. All right, cool. And then they do.
Yeah.
It cuts back to his house.
Like, the nerdy kid is not down. He's like, that seems dangerous.
He just wants that girl, though. Like many a dumb boy,
oh,
he'll
no,
do anything.
It's wonderful. The whole thing is actually wonderful. I'm liking it a lot. And she's badass, and he's appreciating that. And she's like, well, mister, you're just something, whatever. Come with me. And he's like, okay. Like, it's just this whole thing that's going on. I like it a lot.
As he mentioned, they have riot gear in his basement. We can put that on and hit each other. He almost don't even feel it. In that same room, I would imagine, is where he got that tear gas, and they use that to get their revenge on the drug dealer.
Well, they can explain anything now because the dad, is being like the dad's being painted as the kind of guy like what is it? Remember in Tremors, Bert and whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's probably got mad shit in there, including the tear gas, the gas mask.
Yeah, he's a prepper.
Yeah, probably has weird rations and buckets and shit like that. He's probably caked up for the apocalypse. So they can explain anything where that kid's like, yeah, my dad has these. They do this or something like that. You can just have it and stuff.
Yeah, and they're clearly of like the neighborhood they live in is affluent at at best.
They're well-to-do.
He built a robot in 6 weeks, so surely they have a little bit of money.
It's a world where robots exist.
I find that there's only two ways a person can be like that big of a dick when you count like the stepfather and the mother. How like much of a dick they are.
Sure.
Is you're either very well off, which based on the housing you can see, or you're like the worst, and you scrub off the system. Those are the two types that I always notice. I'm like, you're a huge dick. Let's see how that happened. There's not usually like you're a huge dick and you're like a Starbucks barista. Like
it's like your life is this normal thing.
Yeah, doesn't usually happen.
That comment though makes me think that we didn't even see his wife at all, the waitress from whatever in
Always
this episode.
Sunny.
Yeah.
No, because she was busy filming other things.
I wonder how much she'll be in it.
Who knows?
To see more of her.
I'm sure we'll see her again though, because that character's too interesting not to play it more.
Yeah, and there's going to be more now with like you're so impulsive and you're out doing your stuff or whatever.
Yeah, invite me to everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we done with this episode? What else happened this episode?
I'm trying to think if anything else happened in this episode worth noting.
It ends about the tear gas, I believe, or something. Or no, it ends family dinner.
Family dinner. So they just killed the guy. They put him in the freezer. They have saved leftovers. Their clothes are all destroyed. So they come back wearing old clothes. She has like a cat shirt, and he has like from his like hacky sack days sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty good.
It honestly, but it fit for the family dinner thing because she looks
fine.
like Susie Homemaker eating her like sushimi man.
Yeah, so she now has chiseled off human flesh to eat and all that stuff, and the dude in the freezer. So they can now explain that she doesn't have to kill again for some indeterminate period of time.
Presumably
right?
a while, because if like your average person, let's say that guy only weighed 150 pounds, right? How many pounds of meat are you consuming in a meal? Because it doesn't seem like she's like this weird insatiable I feed all the time. All right, so Lee consumes 30 pounds of food per meal.
I don't, but she said that Nathan Fillion weighed like 180 pounds, and then later she said I threw away like 150 pounds of meat.
That's true. That's true.
But
she did say that.
But there's bones in there and organs probably. She should eat the organ. Organ meat's nutritious. She should probably eat that.
I wonder, though, because it's just based on the bowl of food she was consuming at dinner and like what she may have pried off that arm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mid-meat, like,
Yeah.
I'd say she's probably good for at least 2 weeks.
Well, and she can go 2 days without eating, and then she gets super hungry, so she could probably eat like every other day or just eat half as much each day or something like that. So she should have at least a week or two now to get by.
And maybe they'll even say it like, well, I've rationed it out. I can do this, that, and the other thing. I'll suck on the fingers for a while.
We'll talk about all this, and then it'll just be like, they have so...
Because she ate bones. She ate the fingers completely.
Right. So maybe there's literally nothing left. That'd be nice for the show. Not have to dispose of a skeleton.
But you'd still be disposing of a skeleton because... A, can she chew through the bones?
Zombie
and
powers.
B, she's still pooping bones. She's not like they're not like pouring to acid gone.
I think they are.
We'll have to agree or disagree until they say something else.
I think she chews them the way like a dog chews a thing and it's just gone. Yeah, I actually don't understand how she ate those fingers now either. That's weird. Because if she doesn't have super zombie teeth, how is she eating fingers?
I don't
fingers.
know.
You know, like a chicken wing has that like third part with basically no meat in it.
Yeah.
I feel like your fingers are like that part. And if you just tried to bite through all of that, it's got weird. That's not really food. You can peel off a bit on the top is edible, but
yeah, they're at least half, and that's being very generous. Bone.
Yeah, there's
they're probably more than half, probably 3/4 really.
That's like bones and tendons and weird like.
Well, tendons are delicious.
Connecting joint shit.
That cartilage.
It's not like a and she just it made like potato chip noises and they were gone.
Yeah. Maybe she does have a super
foreplay
strength.
ever.
Well, we'll have to see if they allude to anything else.
I want to say, though, I totally love her, like, bloody and mouth blood and just being like, oh, no, and all that stuff. Like,
oh, did someone see?
That's been working for me a lot. That's pretty awesome. Because I like her reacting like she, like, burnt a roast, but she's, like, all fucking
when she's in the storage unit and, like, digging into that arm and, like her nose is, like, pressed into it, like, getting real deep on it like a fucking brontosaurus rib, I was like, and that hand looked like legit. Like, that looked pretty good.
We didn't talk about it, but I was going to mention it when I said, like, was this first episode a pilot? Because it feels weird with all the people in it to be a pilot. Maybe that's how it works. Because, Nathan Fillion's fake hand looked so bad and whatever. But this, and, like, the foot even looked fine, and like this looked fine or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, that's cool for the gory bits.
Yeah, it may have been. But yeah, I think that's episode 3, guys. Until next time, don't die in a fire, and we'll see you in episode 4.